You are about to experience some huge changes in your life. If you open your mind to observe your current healthy and unhealthy relationships, open your creativity to visualize what you want those relationships to look like, and if you open your mouth to start asking for what you need. I'm Theo Wayfinder with Being Healthy is Cool, back with another video, part of my Essential DBT lesson series. Come along with me through the butterflies and bees, can wander through the forest and do so as we please. What are boundaries? Well, boundaries are your personal rules. You set these rules in every relationship you have. In this video, you are going to learn how to set and maintain healthy personal boundaries. Now, how will you do this? How will you set healthy and firm personal boundaries? Let me explain the process. First, identifying the 6 types of boundaries. Next, identifying the 3 qualities of those boundaries. Then, asking for what you need and reminding others of what you need, aka setting and maintaining boundaries. And finally, responding to others when they do not accept or respect your boundaries. The 6 types of boundaries you will learn about in this video are emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, intellectual boundaries, sexual boundaries, material boundaries, and time boundaries. Physical boundaries are your personal rules and limits concerning physical touch and personal space. Healthy physical boundaries include an awareness of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in various settings and types of relationships. It's best to ask someone you just met, what are you comfortable with? So instead of opening your arms and moving towards them, ask them, would you like a hug? Asking is the best way to respect someone's boundaries. Now, some people in different cultures practice maintaining specific physical boundaries. Try not to assume what their boundaries are though, so just ask them instead. Physical boundaries may be violated with unwanted personal touch or invasion of someone's personal space. For example, rummaging through someone's purse or room. Intellectual boundaries refer to thoughts and ideas. Healthy intellectual boundaries include respect for others' ideas and views, and knowing what's appropriate for discussions in certain settings. For example, when is it appropriate to discuss religion, and when is it appropriate to discuss politics? Intellectual boundaries are violated when someone belittles or dismisses another person's thoughts, ideas, or opinions. Disagreeing with someone is okay, but expressing that in a respectful way will help you maintain healthy boundaries. Emotional boundaries refer to your feelings. Healthy emotional boundaries include limitations on when to share and when not to share personal feelings and information. Emotional boundaries are violated when someone belittles, invalidates, or criticizes your emotions. Sexual boundaries include the physical, intellectual, and emotional aspects of sexuality. Healthy sexual boundaries involve a mutual understanding between partners and respect for each other's desires and limitations. Sexual boundaries are violated with unwanted touch, comments, and pressure to engage in sexual acts. Material boundaries refer to money and possessions. Healthy material boundaries involve setting rules and limits on what you will share and with whom. For example, it might be appropriate to lend your family member your car, but maybe not someone you just met this morning. Material boundaries are violated when someone misuses, steals, or damages your possessions, or when they pressure you into giving them or lending them your possessions. Time boundaries refer to how a person uses their time. To have healthy time boundaries, a person must set rules and limitations on the amount of time they spend on each facet of their life, including work, relationships, and hobbies. Time boundaries are violated when another person demands too much of your time. Now that you know about the 6 types of personal boundaries, let's explore the 3 qualities of personal boundaries, called porous, rigid, and healthy. We use these terms to understand the effectiveness of our boundaries. Here are some common behavioral traits of porous personal boundaries. Much like SpongeBob, overshares personal information, too involved with other people's problems, reliant on others' opinions, difficulty saying no to others, accepting of abuse or disrespect, codependency, and fears rejection if you don't comply with others. Rigid boundaries are the opposite of porous. Here are some common behavioral traits of rigid boundaries. Much like a starfish hiding under a rock, people with rigid boundaries often avoid intimacy and close relationships. They're overprotective of personal information, unlikely to ask for help, keeps others at a distance to avoid the possibility of rejection, and maybe seeming detached even from romantic partners. Healthy personal boundaries. Here are some qualities you probably want to see within yourself and experience in your own life. Here are some common behavioral traits of people with healthy personal boundaries. Values own opinions, doesn't compromise values for others, shares personal information in an appropriate way, accepting when others say no, and the two most important qualities have to be knowing what you need and knowing how to communicate what you need. You know, like flubber, adaptable. I had an example for the other two. So for this one, I guess healthy boundaries are like an apartment gated community. You know, when someone approaches and requests entry into the community, if that person has the proper codes, you let them in. Are the people in your life treating you properly? Are they treating you the way you need to be treated? Are you granting them entry into your gate? For the sake of making this information easy to digest, I'm going to continue our conversation on boundaries, particularly how exactly to set and maintain boundaries, for my next video. For now, I'd like you to make a self-evaluation checklist for your boundaries. Write the 6 types of boundaries here and the 3 qualities. Maybe your physical boundaries are healthy, but your material boundaries are porous. Maybe your emotional boundaries are rigid. You can make one of these checklists for every single relationship you have. Write that person's name at the top of the paper and then mark X's in the spaces in which you feel your boundaries are currently being exercised with that person. There is a time that most of my boundaries were porous or rigid. So if that's the case with you, don't worry, because next video we're going to talk about how to set and maintain healthy and firm personal boundaries. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful for you, and if this is your first time watching my channel, welcome. You are a being healthy is cool wildcat. You know how to survive. You are enough, and I can't promise you a cure, but I can promise you that I care, and I know that I'm not the only one. I have a lot of new series and content coming to this channel. We have the Essential DBT Lesson series, which this video is a part of. We have an Eco-Psychology series, and also, in a couple weeks, I'm premiering my first episode of International Wellness Insights, where I have discussions with practitioners, scientists, and artists. So I'll talk to you soon, Wildcats.